And we're on the air. See, I have a running bit where I act like I hurt my finger every time I snap something. Like when I snap the dog's harness on and it snaps, I go, ah. It's just my bit. It's for nobody else but me. Sorry, I got distracted. Somebody's coming in a room. Justin Morris. Justin Biggie Morris. Justin Morris. I love to co-create with this man, and I think we'll go ahead and have this be, what is this, the second one?
Yeah, I think we tried
I love to have
do
return guests. I love to have return guests. Yeah.
Yeah.
I dig it.
I'm a hard one to get. We've already
it's
talked
tough.
about it.
It's tough.
I'm still so jealous
I think
of
the first time we did one, it was like the vibes were off. I was because you thought I was somebody else, and I was like, before we like get going too much, why don't you check out what the real thing is, and then come back to me. And then we recentered and got it all jammed through. Got it real. It was a good episode. It was a good time. And since then there's been some changes in life.
Oh, lots of changes. Yeah.
Lots and lots of changes. I guess where were you living at the time when we had our first episode?
I was living in the Seattle area, actually. Yeah, it was my favorite.
You were living in the Seattle area. Then you were in Florida, and now you're in North Dakota.
Pretty close. I'm like 15 miles away from I'm in South Dakota, though.
Oh, South Dakota.
Yeah. Pretty close to North. So pretty much, yeah. Same.
This guy's a world traveler. He's a Rolling Stone. He doesn't collect moss.
Yeah, I can't stay in one spot, it seems.
Have you ever heard that second part of that very cliche thing?
I don't collect moss.
Yeah, like a stone that doesn't a stone that stays still will collect moss. So the saying is, he's a rolling stone. He doesn't collect moss, because the stone, if it's not rolling, it's not if it's continuing to roll, it's not going to collect any moss.
That does make sense, but it reminds me of that SpongeBob bit where they drive the rock around. What's it? The Pioneer Rock? What was it called?
I wasn't. I'm not too familiar on the Pioneer Rock episode of SpongeBob.
Really? They drive the rock around? I think it was the SpongeBob or
when you say driving and you say SpongeBob, I automatically think of him like trying to take his driver test, and the teacher
Oh yeah, have you heard that conspiracy theory on Miss Puff? How she
Miss
actually
Puff? No. What's the conspiracy?
Yeah, she apparently she murdered somebody in a town far away, changed her identity, and became a driving instructor. Man, there's a whole video on it if you're really curious, but it all ties together pretty well. I'm like, how does anybody?
I would like to speak to an expert about this theory. I would love to speak to an expert about it and have them explain to me what made them to decide to like really dive into the life of a fictional character from a cartoon.
And yeah, I mean, you have to have a lot of free time in order to.
Yeah, I mean, some people can really get lost in stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it makes more of an interesting world, so I appreciate it.
It cracks me up, man, because like people will call themselves experts in things, but there's somebody who's an expert in Miss Puff's backstory. Like whatever you're an expert in, save it. I know already that there's somebody out there who's an expert in side characters from SpongeBob SquarePants.
I would love to see that Netflix documentary. Just
I don't need to hear it.
Just they're cutting away to a bunch of different people that look like they're in a basement like me as they're doing their interviews.
I'm telling you, man, they don't give you the full story, man. Look at the charts.
Why do you think Plankton's always looking for the recipe?
She killed her husband. All right, you can tell it by the reaction when she was flunking SpongeBob on his driver's test.
She said, "No, not again." Line. What does that mean?
Is there a cartoon true crime podcast?
That would be so fantastic to watch. Just that everybody looks like.
You know how big of a market true crime podcasts are? I wonder how niche of the market, like the littlest piece of it. Like this one has to do with conspiracy theories from cartoons.
The Ninja Turtles were actually just college students on acid.
April O'Neil was really just a fisherman in that yellow jacket. She wasn't on the news. She was just a crazy old fisherman with the big yellow raincoat on. Talking, I'll put you on the news.
And Splinter was just their dealer. That's all it was. It's very basic. Man. So what are you sipping on there? Is that tea or coffee?
That's coffee right now.
Coffee.
Cafe Bustela.
Damn, sounds fancy.
No, it sounds fancy because I said it fancy, but it's like the basic ass kind that's at diners.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, keep saying it like that. You fooled me.
It's just the way you say it.
All right. Well, I mean, I know it's a little early, but I only get a day or two off of a week, so I'm sipping on, no advertising, but little beer.
You just have to say, this episode not brought to you by Budweiser.
No, yeah, since it's the fancy Budweiser. Yeah.
Why don't you sip a cold, refreshing Budweiser?
Oh, man.
These messages brought to you by not Budweiser.
Yeah, that's honestly, we can start like some qualms. I have a problem with it not being brought to you by Budweiser.
Me?
Honestly.
So you don't have a problem. It's not your qualm with me.
No,
it's qualm with the booze company. Sure.
Yes, I've sent them multiple emails. I was like, I'm going to be on this podcast, and they never got back to me. So honestly, they're missing out.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to be sponsored by a beer.
Really?
I mean, like honestly, I would make the announcement of like drink responsibly and all that stuff, but I kind of would want people to not get the wrong idea, because it is evolving, and alcohol kind of is not evolving people in.
Oh, that does make sense. You've always had such a good mindset towards everything, man. I'm so jealous. So jealous. Because me, I just go, ooh, dollar signs. Gimme.
I mean, like, I'll take their money. I'll do some ad reads, sure. But like, I'm also gonna say like, I don't drink this stuff, but they're paying me money, and you guys like me, and I like money, and I know you like money. Let's all like money together.
Man, so you would like push BetterHelp like crazy then
Oh
if
yeah,
they.
I mean that would be a cool sponsor. I I don't use BetterHelp. I am in therapy now. I visited a therapist, and I have a peer support counselor at the local mental place, and I just the mental hospital.
That's that. No, that's
It's not
awesome,
a
man.
mental hospital, no, it's just a mental health facility.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's same
It's a
hospital, meaning
mental
you went
health
to your house.
facility.
But
What's that?
no, that's awesome. I've been using a therapist for shoot, I think like 2 years now. It's
Yeah.
awesome, man. It's really
You
helpful.
know, what I did to my therapist this week?
What's that?
I completely forgot about her and blew off our appointment just like you did to me.
Hey,
So,
no, I'm here. I'm just late. I'm just late. That's all. I get.
mhm. No, but I'm saying like I have to practice grace with who who might do something like that to me when I just did it to somebody else. You know what
All
I
right.
mean? Like
Yeah,
it's like that do unto others kind of thing. That's
of
why in my
course,
head where I go, where I've decided I'm going to forgive you, I will absolutely forgive you.
man. I just I just want to like publicly apologize for that. I am so embarrassed, man. I get so
What?
obsessed over my auto shop that I'm always looking for cars to get. But
You're
I don't
you're
like to do
operating
it
on
though.
autopilot.
Yeah, essentially cruise control. Uh all right. So if you could have dinner with one celebrity, who would you pick and what would you
One
ask?
celebrity? What
Yeah.
counts somebody as being a celebrity?
Well, it's just somebody you look up to, really. So it's a celebrity is somebody it's subjective, kind of. Like, for
Mhm.
example, I could talk to my grandma who has no idea who Kanye West is. That's not a celebrity to her.
Mhm.
So
Right.
whoever you kind of put on a pedestal.
Mhm. Uh, um, I would like to talk with Pete Holmes. I think I'm a I think we could have double dates. Me and my girl sometimes listening to We Made It Weird together.
Oh, I love that podcast. I love
So
that podcast.
uh, I think I think that would be who I'd pick if I was given the choice.
Oh man, and then you would ask him, why didn't you get into real estate with a name like Holmes, right?
Why aren't you selling houses, man?
You're halfway there already with the name. Shoot. No, that's a good choice. Pete Holmes he seems so silly and down to earth, but he can still get like raunchy. He's like a modern Bob Saget, in my opinion. Like,
Okay, yeah. I mean that feels pretty accurate.
oh man. I would lose my mind though. Like I am one of those people that can't really keep themselves down when they meet someone big like that. Like I think I told you how I pissed off Bobby Lee, right?
Oh yeah. I think you did, but I have such a poor memory. My memory's not very good sometimes.
Yeah, I'm
So if you
actually
could share with the class,
I'm actually wearing their merch right now, Bad
bad
Friends.
friends.
So I am a huge fan, but I got the chance to meet them in Minneapolis at a meet and greet, and as soon as I walked into the VIP room or whatever you want to call it, uh, Bobby Lee looks at me and goes, "Oh, look, this guy just woke up and came to the show." And all I said back was, kind of like you do for every podcast and show you do. And he goes, "I'm gonna need you to leave the room, change your fucking attitude, and come back in." And I was just giggling. And so I did that, and I came back in, and he did the same thing. This guy just woke up and came to the show, and I said, "Are you going to treat me like Oliver Tree this whole time?" Which is a celebrity he does not get along with very well. They fight on every podcast, and he was getting mad. But then Santino goes, "Hey, he's obviously a fan." And so we took a photo, and I just left. So I don't know if he was doing a bit, but I felt like I
Yeah,
got an authentic
it's tough to
experience.
tell with him. Like
Yeah.
there is like certain comics like have a certain like persona, like a public persona that they put on where you can't tell if they're doing a bit or not. Um, like Pauly Shore, that like he's sort of the same way. Like you can't really tell when you're watching him being offended or like acting up on a podcast or like being guest on something if he's actually like upset about what he's talking about or if he's just doing it to like to do a bit.
Well, I also know that he at the time recently had gotten sober, so he might have been just in a bad mood. But when he was on stage, he seemed. I mean, but then again, he's a professional, so like could have turned it down. But I'm just glad I can say I met him. I got his autograph, so he couldn't have been that mad. Have you met any celebrities that you might have upset or maybe upset you because they weren't?
No. I don't think I off the bat upset anybody. It's never my goal. I don't go, how am I gonna upset this guy? I'm gonna really give him the business right now.
Man, I do it sometimes. It's not a huge deal. It makes things fun.
Well, you're like kind of a trolly hack.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. Yeah.
I mean, I don't share that quality with you.
It's what happens when you're developed through Xbox Live as a young kid. Yeah, I graduated high school early and just played video games all day, and that was actually my first job, was a semi-professional video game player for an energy drink I will not promote anymore.
Can you say that it's Budweiser?
Yeah, there we go. I was sponsored by
Energy drink,
Budweiser.
Budweiser.
Yeah, but yeah, so I guess yeah, it was because I was raised by my Xbox and all that shit talking and stuff kind of developed my young brain. So I mean, I'm trolly, but I'm never really trying to hurt anyone's feelings, you know.
Yeah, I think that there's like a lovability to it, like where I can recognize that, and like I can identify somewhat with it. Like I know like what, because I know that it is a part of like, I know that you just want attention, and any attention, negative or positive, right away is what you're going for. So like I'll give it to you and I'll go, all right, I'm gonna yes and this riff that he's doing, that he's gonna probably step in the mud before me.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's probably because I'm a middle child. You know, I wasn't the baby and I wasn't the firstborn. I was
Right.
right there in the
Attention
middle.
is attention, man. But that's why
I'm the
kiddos act up.
I'm the kind of person that'll sit in a plane and I'll get the meal and I'll exclaim like, "Man, this salad is the bomb!" just to freak people out.
Yeah, it's that is attention. You're getting attention. Like I'd say like you'd probably be somebody who doesn't really follow politics or anything, but would wear a MAGA hat in public just to watch it piss people off. Right?
Yeah, just so that when people are like, "Oh yeah, you're for Trump too," I'll be like, "Who?" I just like the way this looks.
No,
Looks good.
I just like this saying. It's related to somebody. I didn't know that. I just like this saying. I think America should be greater.
Oh, that would be so great. And then when they ask like, "So who did you vote for?" I'll be like, "You know what? I'm going to be biding my tongue on that one."
Don't Kamala harass me about.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. Oh, man. what was what was the oh yeah, the Stone Cold Steve Austin Powers party that we're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
throw.
yeah.
I fucking loved that idea. So we were texting back and forth, and I said, how would you feel about a Austin Powers party?" And you were like, "Guess what? Stone Cold Steve Austin Powers." And I was like, "That is genius." Like, I can't think of any other two like celebrities you can kind of link up and mash a
No, I
theme
mean,
together like that.
I can't either. But I mean, not just right off the top of my head, but I mean, you have to say, like, the guys, when Austin Powers came out, wrestling was at its peak, and for a wrestling fan nerd like me, Stone Cold Steve Austin was the most recognizable name. So when Austin Powers came out, there's Stone Cold Steve Austin and Austin Powers. They just it just the timeline lined up so perfectly to this young wrestling fan.
Man, I wonder. I kind of want to Google now. There has to be like a male porn star out there named Dwayne the Cock Johnson, right?
I'm sure there is. I'm sure.
And I'm glad that little beep showed up right when I said the.
What little beep?
Oh, all right. I'm glad it didn't come through because on my computer I had a little notification right when I said cock, and it bleeped it out for me. So I was like, "Oh, that's nice."
Watch it happen again as you go to say it.
They're watching.
There's a ghost in the machine.
Man, but recently I saw on, I think it was your TikTok, you had this joke about a library that had me howling. It was what was it? The library. Oh, and the computer. How that
Right.
is
Yeah.
killing it. Yeah.
I was saying the fact that there was cars in the parking lot at the library, and I was like, why do people even go to the library? Like, everybody has a smartphone, everybody has all this information in their palm of their hands or like at their fingertips because of the internet. And I went into the library because there was all the cars in the parking lot, and people weren't looking at the books. They were in line to use the computers to get on the internet in the library. You're using the thing that makes this place obsolete inside this place. That's like going to your current girlfriend's house, holding hands with your side piece, and you're like, "Hey, you mind if we just make out here in your living room?"
I was like, that is such a good fucking idea. I was so jealous. I was like, damn, how did I not think of this? It's so good. Oh, man. And it looked like there was a pretty solid crowd too.
Yeah.
Man,
They weren't there
was
to
the
see
last
me,
time?
for sure.
Well, I mean, at our level, the only people that are there to see us are the people we dragged along with.
Right. Everybody in the crowd wearing Cory Kastle shirts. They're like, "Oh, there's my brother. There's my friend I went to high school with. All right, cool."
And all of these stories are about you guys.
Right.
By the end of it, they're all offended.
I didn't really have too many bits about my brother, really. I did say about um when people would always ask me why I became a professional wrestler. I would say, and the weird thing is because I don't really do a whole lot of stuff about wrestling because like people that are there don't know who I am and don't believe that I am a wrestler. If I say that, then they automatically think that that's what the joke is. I'm like, I'm an independent professional wrestler, and they go, ha 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 ha. This guy's like,
But all right,
I think
so
they just think that.
as soon as they start
Yeah.
laughing, just rip your shirt off and have the Stone Cold Steve Austin. Dun, 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 dun.
Right. Yeah, that would make it even more of a bit and not the
Then
reality of it.
you'd be like a buff Burt Kreischer at that point.
Sure. So when people ask me why I wanted to be a professional wrestler, I always say I wanted to do something that was different than my older brother, who's a sassy homosexual that works in retail. So what I do is I go tanning, I shave my armpits, I put on tights, I oil up. I have grapples with strangers in front of bigger groups of strangers. That'll show them.
God, I that kind of reminds me of. I'm trying to start this bit. I only have the beginning part of it, which is it's hard to watch football with my gay cousin because he only pays attention to the tight ends.
Okay.
I don't really know where to go with it, but it kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, I mean it's almost like that's such a like a that's such like a big catcher's mitt of a premise.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
You could go other places.
Like, oh, tight end, gay. But I had a bit about my sister. I said I wouldn't go over my sister's house to watch TV anymore because her cable. She's a lesbian, and all the remotes in her all the batteries in her remotes are always gone.
That's great. That's fucking great.
But
I was trying to yeah, I have all of these beginnings to jokes, but I think it's because I'm not getting on stage as much anymore. So like I'm not as committed.
yeah, dude, I haven't done it in like a year. I haven't been on
A
stage.
year?
It's been a long time. I mean, like 10 months, something probably.
Man, I over here in the Midwest, they have all the small towns have something called street dances, and in the summer, and it's pretty much like the last hurrah before the snow comes back. And so like a bunch of bands get up in the middle of the street on these giant trailers, and everybody's drinking and having a good time. Well, I went around to like all of these places, and they all let me do. So I did like 17 shows at the end of this summer, and then those were the last ones I did. They were so fun though. Yeah, they were so fun because people are used to music. I was the first comedian to ever even try this, and
first comedian ever to do that.
Ever, except for Johnny Pemberton showed up.
About who?
A second. Johnny Pemberton. You had him on here. He showed up.
Yeah.
I got to meet him, but that was
should set up like a tour or something of like a summer dance tour comedy.
Yeah, that would be actually really smart. And then I can get other comedians around too. There's not many of them out here in the Midwest.
We'll call it like the comedy independence. Independence Day.
I like that.
Everybody all patriotic. We want you to come out.
Yeah, that might thwart away because the biggest problem I was having was since it was a street dance, there was a lot of kids. A lot of the crowds didn't mind it, but there was one that got really mad because I was picking on.
Well, I mean, you're pretty vulgar.
Yeah.
So, if there's going to be kids there, you got to clean up your act, buddy. Read the room.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were telling me to go darker. They were like, darker. And so I was like, okay. And I did because it was when the submarine stuff was going on, those billionaires in the submarine. And so I said, last time subs were in the news so much, Jared was touching little boys at Subway. And one of the moms got really mad, and then the kid was like yelling at me, and he looked like he had short blonde hair, so I was like, calm down, Slim Shady. And the mom didn't like it.
I mean,
but
maybe the kid had been touched. Maybe
no, he loved it.
He was a victim of the adult lovers of children.
Well, here's the thing: is the next street dance I went to, that kid was there too, and he was like, "Oh, you were the one that called me Slim Shady," and I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm sorry about that." He's like, "No, we came to see you, and we left mom at home this time." And I was like, "Oh, sick. All right." So
becoming the draw, man. Becoming the draw. You're
yeah,
slowly but surely becoming a draw. I can't wait to see it.
I just hate that my demographic is 7-year-old Slim Shadys.
Well, I mean, you can love it or hate it, but you gotta get used to it. That's who your audience is.
I have such a runny nose today. Excuse me. I'm gonna go grab a napkin real quick so I can blow my nose. I'll be right back.
Yep. So I had this friend in 8th grade, and his name was Brian Cusack. And he was shoot name Brian Zamplione or something. We had the first 2 Eminem albums. Well, this might have just been the first one, the Slim Shady LP. And he had the one that his dad got for him at Walmart, and they bleeped out all the curse words.
Yeah.
And I had the one that maybe was purchased at the Wall or something, and it had the curse words in it. So he would come over and he would like act out everything, but he would self bleep it because that was the way he was used to hearing it. Like, but he did these little act outs for everything, and he cracked me up, dude. I had such a fun relationship with this kid, and I would go over his house and we'd play basketball and jump on the trampoline and stuff. And
this was only 2 weeks ago.
We kind of just weren't talking as much anymore. And then like the newspaper came out, and the guy who adopted him had also like adopted a bunch of inner city kids. Like he was from Brooklyn. He was like from New York City. And moved here. The guy who adopted him apparently had made all this money like doing the soundtrack to Star Wars or something. Like he was a musician. Wow. And he was like wealthy, and he adopted all these like inner city kids from the orphanage, and was raising them in the suburbs of Philly, right? And the guy, apparently some of the kids had come out and spoken against that guy, saying that he had molested them. And then Brian got taken away, and he got moved back to Brooklyn, right? And then the dad, dude, he was all over the newspaper and stuff, and then he committed suicide.
Slip and slide. He
committed slip and slide. Yeah.
You gotta, because you can't say that if this is going on the YouTubes, Cut it out, Jamie.
You know what's weird? I think that's probably why. Maybe that's probably why people are saying like what's the way that people are unaliving themselves?
Yeah.
People are saying it that way.
Yeah.
They're saying, he tried to unalive himself. People are trying to like self-edit so much, they're saying it that way. Is it to prevent getting a strike on YouTube or something?
Yes, that is exactly what it is. Yeah.
And also, is that why people are trying to say, because I did a bit about this once. People are now saying unhoused, and they think like that's the more sensitive thing to say than homeless. Is homeless now a word that's going to get you banned from YouTube?
I don't think that one would get you banned. I just think people are, I don't know, just
and here's what I said. I said, who was saying homeless offending? Were bums like, hey, we're not homeless, we're unhoused. You're hurting my feelings. I'm like, oh yeah, let's pander to the bums too.
Yeah, they're gonna. I can already see them, like
the bum's feelings who hasn't taken a shower in a month. He's worried about his feelings.
They're like, yeah, as soon as I'm done hitting this crack pipe, I'm coming after you. I'm gonna be so offended.
He was like, I don't have a home, and I don't have a shower, but I have a smartphone, and I'm gonna tweet that I'm offended.
Oh God. Yep. No, that's yeah, no, but you're probably safe because apparently it's only the first 10 minutes that YouTube really pays attention to. You can kind of do whatever you want after.
And it's the sad reality of it that like people barely pay attention to the content that they're consuming. Like, and when it comes to like putting a long form conversation on YouTube, people are only going to listen to it for the minutes that they'll listen to it, and then just kind of like turn it off, and then maybe not even interact with it. People will watch it, not like it, just not comment, just move on to the next thing, and only be watching it for minutes at a time. It's like, what is it that like captures people attention to like have them watch an entire episode of a podcast or like watch the whole YouTube video?
I mean, what I've noticed, I mean, I'm not this way, but a lot of, well, I can't say that. I watched the entirety of Seinfeld this way, but um I've noticed people watch things kind of to hate it. So if they hate it, they'll watch the whole thing and they'll decrypt every single part of it and pick apart every single bit. And then people that love it, they'll leave it on in the background while they clean their house, and then catch like small bits of it. So I think if you really want to get big, you just gotta like look at all the people that you hate to watch. Like, for example, I
hate watch anything.
Well, I mean, Donald Trump, I did that to him all the time, and Seinfeld. Like I said,
I don't have time for hating stuff. Like I want to love stuff. I want to listen to things that are going to be like have value in my life, or like make me smile. I don't understand.
You're too much of a sweetheart, man.
I don't understand hate watching things.
You're too much of a sweetheart, man. I want to like smack you with a towel and give you a bump of cocaine.
Bottle that stuff up. You start love watching stuff.
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, I'm a fan of multiple podcasts that I will not miss an episode. And like when they take a Christmas break, it like bums me out, that kind of stuff. But I can't imagine anything other than, like I said. I mean, I watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I did not like that, but I watched most of it.
Why though?
Because honestly, like when I see somebody so just clueless, I guess it makes me feel better about how clueless I am. Does that make sense?
Comparison is a robber, man. It is robbing you. You are getting robbed of joy via comparison. Don't compare yourself to these people and then go, oh, they're stupid, but they're super wealthy. Maybe I can also use my stupidity to become wealthy.
I mean, I'm joyful. I'm for the most part, I'm joyful when it's the weekend, All right. Top 3 fast food restaurants. Go. I'm changing the subject.
Top 3?
Top 3.
Chipotle.
Good choice. Is this going from third to first or first to third?
First, second, and third. I wasn't putting them in any order. I was just thinking of them out loud.
All right. All right.
The one that I think of right away, Chipotle. I really like Five Guys.
Five Guys aren't they going under though? I heard they were going under. No? I hope not. They're good. They're the closest thing to In and Out in this area. So In and Out
I
is
thought you were gonna. I
fantastic.
thought you were going for very underhand lob, hacky
No,
joke
no,
on Five
no.
Guys going under. But
No, no, no,
you
no, no.
you just left the keys upon the table on that one.
Well, I was being serious because I was concerned.
Yes, it is concerning that Five Guys are going under. Under
Uh,
what? What are they going under? Underground?
okay, all right. Five Guys, Chipotle, and
They're gonna exclusively be in Australia, going down under.
going down under.
I had to speak Australian. Five
Uh,
Guys, burger.
what was the way to develop a? I found a thing online where to help you with your Australian accent. It was oh yeah, if you say rise up lights, it sounds like razor blades in Australian. Rise up lights.
Razor blades. Yeah.
All right, third one.
Um, um, Taco Bell?
That is probably my go-to all the time. You know what's weird is you can ask multiple, like McDonald's is the biggest one, right? But no, that
This
never
episode brought
ends
to you
up
by
at,
Taco Bell.
but nobody,
Bong!
McDonald's is the biggest one, but nobody ever has it on their list. That makes no sense to me.
Because it's like only parents, like it's like only parents with young kids who like want to feed young kids cheap stuff that like will slow them down and go. "Ugh." They get like all poisoned by it. Like um, a Happy Meal should be called a dopamine meal. Like it like just really
The
robs
happiness
you.
comes from
It's got
the joy.
chemicals and stuff, and it's all robbing the kids of all their energy. It's sopping up all the energy that they have in them to
The
just come.
happiness
It's
actually comes from the parents once the kid falls asleep. That's where the happy in the meal
McDonald's is an iPad before an iPad was raising the kids. McDonald's food was the iPad.
Yeah, just yeah, you have a really good point there. All right, you fixed my little theory. Well, not theory, but my wonderment on why McDonald's is huge, but never anybody's favorite.
Well,
Uh,
more people have kids than don't have kids.
hey, I'm one of the ones that don't.
Same.
Knock on wood. uh, man, I had a question loaded. I can't remember what it was now. Oh yes, so Chick-fil-A not on your list at all.
Oh yeah, I mean it's on there for sure. I mean I like it, but I mean
Man,
it's not I don't it's not a go to. I guess fast food isn't really a go to for me. I don't do,
oh, so
and I
you
guess
like
Five
cook for
Guys
yourself?
really isn't fast food because it takes a minute, right?
That's true. They do cook it to order.
Right.
So,
So I don't even know, dude.
on your normal days, you're cooking for yourself like all the time, or
No,
no?
man.
Or you're going out to like
I
better stuff like restaurants.
it's a balance, you know.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you practice photosynthesis. You just go outside and take in some nutrients from the sun.
Dude, I can't believe how many things we're talking about that I was just talking about on like on the phone with Alyssa before I got on the phone with you. Because we were talking, she was like, "Get outside and get some vitamin D. The sun's out." Like, and we were talking about Eminem, and then you brought up talking about Eminem.
It's crazy that Eminem, like if my rap name was Eminem, my first album title would be like green, then the second one would be red, and the third one brown. All the different colors of the M&Ms.
I was thinking about if Eminem had like a like a metal album with like a full band behind him, and then maybe he put on like a lady's wig, and he was singing some like alt metal songs from like the 2000s, and it was called Eminescence, and it was wake me up.
uh, that's fucking great. Oh, that's great. For some reason, I can see Jamie Foxx getting a feature in that one, just because he can do everything. Really, it's crazy. He's still,
Yes.
still, he's so underrated. I was watching a movie with him the other night, and it was something about clones or something like that. But I was like,
Something
damn,
about what?
clones. There were people cloning people in the hood and stuff like that. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a great movie.
Oh, it was on They Clone Tyrone. It's
There we
on
go.
Netflix. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That was good. I like that
And
movie.
I was watching, I was like, Jamie Foxx, not to mention, hasn't looked like he aged a day since his show. But
Since
like,
In Living Color.
yeah, like, oh my God. And he's so multi-talented. And I started listening to his music later that night, and I was like, geez, this guy has pipes on him too. Like, so underrated. I don't know why he didn't make, he should have been Kevin Hart, not Kevin Hart. He also does stand-up every so often. Did you know that?
Uh-huh.
Crazy.
I've heard it. I never saw his stand up. I've never seen what he does, but I'd be very curious to see it.
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely better than like a David Spade. I mean, not that David Spade's bad or anything. I'm just saying
I
like
like
when you,
David Spade.
yeah, well, I'm just saying when you like you get so famous at one point you kind of drop off because you don't relate to the common man anymore, and that's I mean, it's not that it's not funny, it's that it seems like it's something I might read on like a poop joke book, you know. Those are good too. I'm not
Wait, whose material is something that you might read in a poop joke book?
David Spade.
You know what? I think my style of comedy is the kind of stuff you would read in a joke book. But I don't know about a poop joke book. But like,
Oh no,
well,
like
when
you
you say
know,
poop joke, you mean it like the back of the toilet kind of
yeah,
joke book?
yeah, the one that you grab
Okay,
off
yeah.
the, yeah.
My jokes are kind of like you'd read it on a popsicle stick. That's a
No,
popsicle
no,
stick or a joke book.
that's Mark Normand you're talking about. All right.
Yeah, him too. Yeah,
I love Mark Normand stuff though.
yeah.
That shit
He's
makes
awesome.
me cackle.
His last Netflix special was top notch.
Yeah, Soup to Nuts. I've watched it like 7 times now. It's so good. But
I definitely have watched it multiple times myself, but I
yeah.
don't remember how many times.
And Sam Morrill is top notch too. But
Mhm.
he he's so monotoned. But I think that's part of it, right? Because when I listen to his podcast, he's not as monotoned. I think he does it kind of for the bit, but that's good. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
Well, like, you know, there's part of every comedian wants to like find their voice, and that's he's mastering it in that, and like he knows his delivery on how everything should kind of sound on a level, you know. So he's
So
finding his
when you perform, do you prefer completely sober? Do you like
oh
a
yeah,
tiny buzz, or so you?
can't uh no, I can't have a buzz. I can't drink. I can't smoke. Nothing.
Can't
I have to be
smoke?
stone sober.
All right. Well, I mean, for me, I can't be high at all because then I start second guessing, start redoing jokes, stuff like that. But I need at least like a shot or one beer in me. Otherwise, I am too stiff. Just like, "Meh," you know? Uh,
You need a stiff drink to loosen up.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But only one, because if I go too far, I just start picking on people in the crowd because I forget my material. It's happened a few times. There's definitely, but if I go stone sober though,
Pretty sure I saw a video of that.
worse. Oh yeah.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure I saw a video of that where
yeah.
you were too drunk to
That
perform.
was, I think the last time that happened was in Watertown. So I can imagine it. I had a few friends in the crowd. Yeah, it wasn't great. So any aspiring comics out there, don't follow my strategy. Follow his. There we go.
Dude, I
Following
mean,
the right way
if
this
it
time.
works for you, if you're somebody who can function well, and you know your line, you know your balance, you know what's responsible for you, uh, find your voice.
Well, yeah. In my defense, every time that's happened, it's because somebody tells me to get on stage after I've already had too many, and I don't say no. You know, I just get up there. Can we try something? Has this ever happened on your podcast? Can you give me a little heart finish?
Oh, the gimmick.
Look, you
This,
see,
I think I did that with Alyssa
oh,
because we love each other. We're in a
okay. All
romantic relationship with each other.
right.
I'm not in a romantic relationship with you, sir.
Well, I mean, maybe one
What?
day. Wish Wishful thinking. Let me hope. You know, don't kill a
Fingies
boy's
crossed.
dream. uh, all right. Top three freaking movies. Let's go.
Top 3 freaking movies.
Yeah.
I love me some. I love me some Training Day.
Oh, I
That's one of
just
my
sold the
favorite movies.
same. I just sold that same car that they drove in that one. It was a
Oh, cool,
'79.
cool.
Yeah, I didn't want to get rid of
And
it. But
I love. Well, I love a lot of like comedies. So like people go like I don't know if that counts, but like Dumb and Dumber is one of my favorite movies, like for sure.
oh
I
yeah,
can up
oh
and
yeah.
down quoted all day, and Wayne's World up and down quoted all day. I love Wayne's World,
Oh.
Dumb and Dumber, and Training Day are my top 3 movies.
Hey, that honestly sounds like a good little collection there. You could live off those three for sure.
Oh, yeah. Like love me some Tommy Boy, love me some Billy Madison.
Oh, I mean, I
Like any.
I gotta be honest. I've never seen Training Day.
Oh yeah.
I've I've never seen Tommy Boy.
Oh my.
Yeah, I've seen all the other ones.
I mean, I I would suggest, I would recommend for sure, but I mean, watching them with 2024 eyes, uh, 4 eyes, with the, through the 2024 lens, it might not hold up. I don't know, but I mean, they're still good movies to me. I still
you,
love Dumb and Dumber. I
you
still love
know,
I
I
still love Tommy
just
Boy. I
I
still.
just gave Breakfast Club a watch for the first time,
Mhm.
and does not hold up, man.
No.
Just for some reason, it just there's too many parts that bother me, and when they drop multiple times, they drop the F word and
Mhm.
not fuck, and it just
Mhm.
makes me so uncomfortable. And I know I sound like a snowflake but it's just like weirdly derogatory when they say it. You know, the teacher leaves the classroom during detention, and they all start smoking weed in the library. And then when the teacher
Mhm.
comes back in, he doesn't mention the smell at all. That just there's too
Mhm.
many parts in it that just
Yeah. It- And like when the kid is climbing through the ceiling tiles, you wouldn't be able to do that. You
yeah,
you couldn't do that.
it's just what it's all these coke filled 80s heads putting this movie together. Like I don't know. So yeah, there are a lot of classics that don't hold up for sure.
You know what I watched recently that didn't hold up?
What's that?
Jingle All the Way
Oh, is that the Arnold Schwarzenegger one?
and Sinbad. They're waiting in line to get this toy, and Sinbad punches this lady in the face and like totally gets away with it. No one reacts. No one goes, "Hey, that guy just punched that lady in the face." And then like later on, there's like some prize ball that Arnold's like chasing this prize ball, and it goes into this playground, and he goes through like crouching down, chasing some through the playground, and people are going, "Sicko, pervert," and they're like throwing shit at him. Like there's parts of that maybe don't age well or whatever.
Man, I remember watching that like every Christmas. I have to give that one another go. I have a movie date tonight, so I think that might be on the list.
I want to insert a video, like a clip of Sinbad punching that lady in the face and then all the way.
Yeah, I think I'm most excited. That's right at the beginning, right?
I forget what part. I believe so. I think that's maybe like establishing the origin story of Sinbad coming into the story of the movie.
Yeah, they just need to set the vibe right away.
The introduction of Sinbad is he does a sin and it's bad.
Do you remember when Sinbad came back and did comedy? I think they released it on Netflix when he did.
Yeah, Sinbad's a funny comedian, dude. I've always been a fan of Sinbad.
Man, yeah, and he even did a little cameo for It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, with the Rob Thomas episode.
Yeah. Oh man, God! Now I have so many.
I love me some Always Sunny. Hey, you know where I live?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess you'd have to be. I wonder, is there people out there that don't like it? Has to be just
I'd say that the people who don't like it have maybe only seen the one that bothers them. You know what I mean? The one that has the thing about it that bothers them. And
I can't believe Charlie Day drops the N-word in the first episode, and it's on season 16, I think.
But that was such a funny line.
We can get him to promote it.
Ends hanging from the rafters.
And Charlie Day arguably probably has the best career the most thriving career out of all, besides maybe I can never say his Rob. I'll just say Rob.
Rob McElhenney.
McElhenney, that's how it is.
Yes.
Brought to you by McDonald's.
Because he bought that soccer team with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Oh, yep. And then he started making.
And now he's doing the Minecraft movie.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's going to direct it, and it's like going to be a pretty major budget motion picture.
I hope it does better than the Super Mario movie, because that one wasn't great.
Did you like the Super Mario Brothers movie?
It was okay.
Well, I have to say, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, super cute, very cute. It was a cute movie, so super cute. Both of them, so cute. Super Mario, it was all right.
Yeah, I mean, there was some.
I never played Minecraft, so I have no frame of reference to neither enjoy or or enjoy the movie or dislike it in any way. I might not be the target audience. I might not be the key demographic for the Minecraft movie. They're like, damn, we don't have more 40-year-old white dudes watching the Minecraft movie.
I guess that's true. Yeah, they're not searching for our approval. You're right. Yeah, I didn't even think of it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the maybe the Sonic the Hedgehog movie was maybe more for our generation, or the Mario Brothers movies were more for our generation and the kids of our generation to reintroduce them to stuff that we grew up loving. Like that's why they redid Ninja Turtles too. It's just it's for.
Oh yeah, they needed.
Well, Ninja Turtles has had so many different generations of Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't. I don't ever see them going away, which is weird because is it Sega that owns the rights?
Nickelodeon owns Ninja Turtles.
Oh, wow, yeah, it's gonna go on forever, unless they do My Theory, which is just college students on acid. I want to see that Ninja Turtles movie.
Dude, I just read I didn't finish reading it yet, but I'm currently reading The Last Ronin. It's like a graphic novel based off the Ninja Turtles. Like all but one of the Ninja Turtles is still alive. Like they all died.
Yeah, and you're trying to figure out which one that
They're all like 500 years old. Well, I know who it is.
Oh, really?
I'm just not. I'm not going to spoil it because I know that spoilers hurt people's feelings.
Yeah, I mean, wait, are they going to make a movie on that?
I don't know. It would be cool.
That'd be great.
But
that'd be great. It'd be played by Kevin Hart.
And like April O'Neil and Casey Jones have a kid together. And like the April O'Neil's this old lady, and she like has a missing hand and a missing foot. And Casey Jones is dead too.
Oof. Oof.
And they
all right.
She raised the daughter, who's also named Casey Jones, in the sewer layer.
Man, that's always such lazy writing when they just name it the same. Like, but what's even worse is I'm a Naruto fan, and then when they came out with the next one of his kid, they just named the kid Baruto. I was like, that's even worse. That's like if I had a kid and named him Bustin. Mm-hmm. But if I did, I would make his middle name Nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Bustin' Nuts Morris.
I can add nothing to that. It's all good right. All on its own.
All right. But yeah, so there's nothing on a movie about that, because that would be turning Ninja Turtles the same way they turned Batman. Like they made it like a serious, like darker. Like...
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of doubtful. It's pretty dark. But
I would love to see that as like a series, because I wouldn't want it to end in an hour and a half, you know?
Right. Yeah. Well, I'd be willing to be a part of it if somebody was going to make it. If they wanted, they wanted a talented actor who could do his own stunts.
Oh yeah, you've done a few things. You have an IMDb. Can't believe this, man. And like you have people on the show that are so I'll never forget that episode you had with Johnny Pemberton. I was like, Jesus, like I would give my left nut just to. And I did meet him this summer, but it was like half a second, and I didn't have the balls to ask him to hang out or anything. But
well, it's a weird thing, man. Like I don't know if I've ever told the story, but I did extra work in the WWE in 2008 or 2009, something like that, and I met like all of my like favorite wrestlers. Like I was in the ring with Jamie Noble, and at the commentator table watching us wrestle was Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Michael Cole, and John Cena.
Jeez.
But
you couldn't see him?
I forgot he was there because I couldn't see him. but I had just read Chris Jericho's autobiography, and I was a huge Chris Jericho fan. I think if you've ever heard me talk about it, I still always talk about how I grew up. Chris Jericho always saying he was my favorite wrestler, and I had just read his book, and in the book he had talked about like, hey, I'll teach you this secret. If you ever meet me in person, come up to me and ask me, and I'll tell you the secret of this. And I couldn't wait to meet him. And then every time I saw him, he was in the middle of like flirting with a bunch of girls. And I was like, I'm not going to go up to him and ask him to ask him this insider joke from his book. Like I was just like, oh. All right, well, I guess I'm not gonna meet Chris Jericho. And then a couple years ago during COVID, somebody tagged me in a tweet, and they also tagged Chris Jericho in a tweet, and they were like, "Oh, if Chris Jericho is a heel, why do the fans still all sing his theme song?" And I commented, and I said, I was just saying this from like the perspective of I kind of know a little bit of the wrestling business, so I know it's also during it was during COVID times, so their audience might have consisted of just like friends and family, and maybe people who work for the company. They're like filling up the stands, and they're singing along just to make it feel normal, because like the rest of the world wasn't feeling normal at the time. And uh, and I think I said something like they're all people who work for the company, like that are singing along, like, and, and then he like comment like he like he like mentioned me in the comment. Wrong, bozo. They're not people who work for the company. They're just fans who are passionate, and I love that what they do. And then all of Chris Jericho's fans all got on me. They were like, "You're an idiot. You're a no nothing schmuck." And like they were like, "You wouldn't know town." Like, and they were bashing me. I don't even know them. Like they don't know me. I like I like commented, and I was like, dude, this in no way was trying to I didn't bash you in any way. I didn't say like, oh, they're all paid to do it. No, that wasn't what I was trying to say. But since you called me a bozo, you kind of like turned your entire fan base on me.
You should have made.
And then
a little
I commented, and I said, dude, you are my all-time like #1 dream podcast guest. You're one of the most inspirational people to me in my career. Like I would love to have you on my podcast, but I reached out to your agent, and your agent said that my podcast wasn't a big enough deal. And then someone commented, and they're like, well, his agent was right. You're not a big deal. And then a bunch more people just bashing me. And I was like, how exhausting of a life is it to just like go on Twitter and like respond to people's things without really grasping them? I get, because like I bet you every day there's somebody going into Chris Jericho's tweets and making fun of him for some reason, or like throwing shade his way, and he just has to respond to it all the time. It must get exhausting.
Well, I'll tell you how to rehash it perfectly. All right. You just need to make a little promo video, have your evolving with Cory thing in the background, and just make it like a promo thing. Just like, all right, since you think I'm bashing you now, I'm going to bash you in the ring Thursday night at 6 p.m. Call him out.
I mean, I don't know if I don't know how that could help. I mean, I don't have
it'll make
the
it
thing
worse.
is, man, I always say it, like I don't have whatever they think would be like beneficial to like, I don't have big enough numbers. I don't have big enough like followers for it to be beneficial for them to even interact with me in any way. So that's why I'm surprised. Like, it's like the only thing that gets you is the negative shit. Like that's not really the kind of energy I'm trying to put out there into the world. Like that's not the messages. Yeah. That's not the value that I'd hope that the people who do follow me get out of following me.
Yeah, man, you're too much of a sweetheart. Too much of a sweetheart. You wouldn't have made it through the draft. You would have left.
But I'm also a wrestler. I'm also a tough guy pro wrestler.
Yeah. So you're such a just a rare specimen. We'll just say it that way.
Rarefied air that we're breathing over here.
Oh man. All right. Craziest night of wait, you don't really drink too much. But
sometimes.
have you ever gone too far and like done anything wild? Like I almost fought Rob Schneider.
That sounds familiar. Did I know that?
Yeah, well, Rob Schneider had a show. I went to go see it, and the sound system stopped working, so he made it a thing to go meet everyone. And I just decided, well, I'm at a venue. I didn't get to see a show, so I'm just gonna drink. And by the time he got to me, I was like belligerent. But so was he. He was walking around with bottles of wine the whole time, and every time he was done with the bottle, another one would show up in his hand, like somebody would bring one to him. So, and but I was like, I'm also a comedian, and he goes, man, you just need to get that first solid tight 5 minutes. And I was like, I got way more than five. And like yeah, so he's like, all right. And then after that, I got more drunk and woke up with like my clothes all torn up, and apparently I got in a fight, but it wasn't with him. So yeah.
I had a comedian on like pretty early on in the podcast. So it was still like when I was in the studio. But I had a podcast with Chris Freed. Have you ever heard of Chris Freed?
Chris Freed. It sounds familiar. I bet if I saw the face.
But he does like gut feel. But at this time, like he had just opened for Rob Schneider at whatever his show was, and I felt like right then I was like, this is where my podcast becomes a big deal. Like I reached out to him and he reached right back out to me, and then he showed up into the studio, and I was like, I got a real comedian as a guest on my podcast, and it was rad. He's a cool dude. He's come to my house back when I was recording audio only before I was doing video ones like this. I would have him. He's been to my house a few times. Cool guy.
Man, see, you have the charisma, man. I don't see a future of you not growing, to be honest.
I'm trying to make a joke about charisma, charismatic, automatic.
No, man, like you just have that dedication. It's inspiring, really. Fuck.
I hope so. I hope it is inspiring. I want to be the kind of inspiration that it would be like whatever I do, I'd want it to be something I'd want to consume. You know what I mean? Like I'd want to be able to be. I want to make any episodes of my podcast that I put out ones that I'd want to hear if I wasn't me.
That's a good way to frame it. Yeah, that's
like I'd want to add the type of value that to somebody else listening to it as I'd want to gain from hearing it if I was them.
You've definitely got like some fans that reach out, right? Like hit you up on your Instagram or something like that.
I mean, not an incredible amount. No, I mean, like I do have, you know, I do have some people who are dedicated fans, but I think I get most of my fans through like the way you and I had our first conversation where we were talking about doing the podcast, and then you thought it was something else, and then I said listen to some episodes, and that's how I get my fans, because they go, okay, you go listen to a couple episodes and then come back to me, and then they're like, oh, I'm hooked now. Now.
When you first started it up and had me in the lobby, I was like, where's the bongos? And then they came out a little late, but I was like, there they are. I was like, do I not get bongos? I was all sad.
I got a different drum now.
Oh, really?
See how big it is? Back then I had a small one.
Yeah, I remember. You should get like a shelf of the different evolutions of different, just keep upgrading them.
It's funny. No, but I don't want it to I don't want it to lose its importance. You know what I mean?
Okay.
The drum is it's a pretty sacred thing to me, you know.
You strike
And
me as a meditative person. Yeah.
well, I mean, it represents so much for me. I mean, I that same drum is the one I take to the ring with me before my matches. Like it's the one that it represents my heart. It represents my spirit. It represents my nature. Is like I'm gonna keep hitting this drum. I'm gonna stay consistent. I'm gonna consistently hit this drum, and um,
And
keep it continuously going.
and it also lets the ladies know you know how to bang. Uh,
Yeah. Advertisement, walking advertisement.
uh, man. So, worst injury you've ever had wrestling? I'm sure you've
Worst
talked
injury
about.
from wrestling.
Yeah.
I um I got I don't want to say this is a bad injury. It's just the I guess like the most like pain I was in for a while. And it kind of like once it happens, you're almost you're gonna have issues there forever. Is uh ribs, like broken ribs,
Ah,
that just kind of always you're always at risk of them getting bruised again real hard. Um, that I mean, everything has just been small things like that. Like, not to say that that's small, but I'm saying like I've like broken and bruised my ribs multiple times, and I don't I and same with my nose and like a couple of fingers and stuff. It's it's like a little bit of minor stuff, nothing that's ever like taken me out of the game for a while.
man. So, I can't imagine ribs, like, because I grew up as a skater and I was lucky enough to never like break anything. But
Oh yeah,
I, I've
that could be risky.
I've definitely do you know what getting credit carded is as a
Oh
skater?
yeah, when the skateboard goes right up your ass,
Yeah. Well, one
like
time
the edge
that
of it, like
yeah,
the edge of it.
one time I was doing an eight stair outside of uh, it was a government building, so it was dumb because I also got a ticket for skating there. But it was right after I tried to do a kickflip over an eight stair, and the board, instead of hitting me in the ass, got me right in the nuts. And I think that might be why I don't have any kids, to be honest. But yeah, right afterwards, a cop comes up and gives me a ticket while I'm in pain over my nuts. Yeah, so that's my worst injury, I think, to this day ever for anything.
We're like, stop writing me this ticket and take me to the hospital.
I think my nuts are ripped open. Please. Yeah. I think I had video footage of it.
I
I have I have so many old videos on my YouTube of skating and stuff. I have a video of my best friend breaking his arm. That was the biggest hits we ever got. I think we got like 22,000 views on it.
did did you ever were you a big fan of CKY and Bam and all that?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean,
Like,
Bam was a little he was more famous than he was like good at skating. He's great at skating, but like he's
right.
not like top notch as skater. He's top notch as a celebrity. So I liked him as a personality, a skate personality more than like a inspirational skater, but he was very very much in my catalog of things to watch for sure.
Dude, me and my friends would watch all the CKY videos and quote them all the time. Like were maybe a little obsessed. That's like we wanted it to be like our gimmick in wrestling. We'd we I was in a tag team. I'm Cory Kastle. My partner was Niles Young, and we were called CKNY. And we were trying to do like CKY type things, and like put them on CZW TV. But then like we didn't get the green light to kind of push it that far from Combat Zone. They didn't want to like fund any of it. They didn't want really mess too much with it, so we didn't move forward. But I got so I was communicating with Rake Yan. Do you know who Rake Yan was?
No clue.
He's the long-haired guy who wowdy.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, yeah. All right.
I was communicating with him. I met him at like a CKY show because I'm from Philly, so
yeah,
Westchester, Philly. It's all in the same area. So I went and saw CKY a bunch of times in Philly, and I met Joe Franz and Rake Yan at one of the shows and talked about wrestling, and then had the office at the wrestling company CZW send videos, send like DVDs to Rake Yan to have him get involved and have like the CKY and Jackass dudes get involved with us at CZW, and he completely blew it off. Like he didn't respond to any of my messages anymore. He got the videos. I don't know if you ever watched them. I don't know if you ever saw them, but like we sent like tickets with the videos from the office. They sent tickets to the event. He didn't show up. And then a couple years later, it was when Viva La Bam was out. I ran into him again at another CKY show, and he was like, "Dude, you're gonna be so pissed off at me." In my head, I'm like I already aren't all pissed off at you. and he was like, "Yeah, we just did a pro wrestling episode of Viva La Bam, and like we had the ring set up in Bam's backyard, and like he was saying the names of the wrestlers who were on the show. He's like, oh man, you'll be so pissed when it comes out. Like you would have wished. I mean, I should have reached out to you." And I'm like, yeah, you should have.
Jeez.
And,
yeah. You should have just kept that to yourself. Is what you should have done.
Hey,
that's kind of going back to
maybe it wasn't meant to be at that time.
that's like going up to your like somebody who had a crush on you in high school and been like, "Oh man, I was about to call you, but then like Stacy showed up." So
dude, you know what's funny? I had when I was a kid, I hung out with my two closest friends at the time was BJ and Scott. And like it was like everybody almost always paid attention to what they were doing, and like I was kind of like the third wheel of that. Like I was less of the highlighted one. Like the girls always loved BJ. Like that was like
how he got his name.
No, but like it was always the accessory to hanging around with this like guy that all the girls liked. None of the girls ever liked me. They always liked him until they like got to know him, and then they didn't like him. Like, but right when it would start out, like a girl would come around, they would really like him, and then he'd like make out with them like 3 or 4 times, and then they like got to know him a little bit, and they'd be like, okay, never mind. Like that happened very frequently. But then
shout out BJ. How you doing? You know you're watching.
So then why was I bringing this up? At the wrestling school, there was a girl that they both liked her, and I just assumed because they always like they have more of a choice to like a girl than I had. Like somehow in back of my like low self-esteem mind, I was like, oh, that doesn't even register to me. But we were making this documentary years and years later where that girl turned out to be she went from our wrestling club that we were at. She went on from doing that to like become like this like cult icon in the like ladies wrestling world. And I was working on this documentary with this guy Steve I was working with, and we had interviewed her and we showed videos of that stuff when we were kids. And I was in the video, and she was in the video, but she didn't know that was me. And when she was watching it, she was like, "Oh my God, that was you! I had such a crush on you." But like now she's like pregnant. You know what I mean? Like all these years later, she's like married and having kids.
Oh yeah. No, I totally relate to that.
I was like,
yeah.
Yo, why didn't you tell me? I didn't know.
Yeah, I totally relate to that because my best friend Trevor, we would hang out all the time, and he was a skater too, but he was 6'7", so all the girls would look at him first,
Right.
And one of my longest relationships was with somebody that was interested in him first, and yeah, so I totally relate to that, and I've gotten multiple things on Facebook where it's like I had such a big crush. I was like, then why were you hanging out with Trevor?
Right.
And yeah, and then but now we're all in our 30s and they all have kids and whatnot, and I'm doing my own thing.
Kind of like when it came to like, I was the type that like once I started like breaking out of being in that third wheel role to them, and it's weird. It's like not that I was a third wheel or anything, but I was definitely considered not first, as like the ones or like the girls were going to pay attention to, or the wrestling promoters were going to pay attention to. And it got to the point where like I stuck with wrestling and they both fell off like quickly, like when we were still kids. And I remember being like, I'm not just doing this for me, but I'm kind of doing it for like a little bit of honoring our collective dream. You know what I mean? As like we wanted to succeed in the wrestling business. And I know at the time those guys were bigger fans of wrestling than I was. Like, but like I wanted to do this. Like I just wanted to stay consistent with it.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
And honestly, keep it up. Like I love watching you continue to do this, man, because I myself have kind of gotten out of the comedy and the podcast game, and I'd love to do it again, but I just don't have the same dedication you do, man. And it's truly inspiring, and you make me want to get off and make an episode myself right after this and just do like a this past weekend style, like Theo Vaughn, because god damn, is it nice to see that you're still doing it, you're still dedicated.
Well, if you want, Justin, for real, we can I can send you this recording and you can release it on your feed and have this be the start of you continuing to do your podcast.
I would love that, actually. Yeah, I would love that.
And you keep this ball rolling,
Well, my grandma wants
to be inspired and to act inspired are two different things.
That's very true. That is very true. And my grandma wants to do, because she's done a couple episodes with me, and she is hilarious because she's not your typical grandma. I can cuss around her. Like the first episode was all related around the fact, or not the fact, but the topic of the first time she ever gave a blowjob. So like she's not your typical grandma, So I would love to. Yeah, maybe she's still asleep, but I'll wake her, or when she wakes up, maybe I'll just bank another episode, and then I'll have one for next week, and Yeah, that's great. I would love that, man. If you could send it, and then yeah, and I'll call it evolving, you know. Call the episode evolving. But
Yeah, but
I do
I
have to
just
get
want
out
to
of here,
see
man.
you. I just want to see you well. You know what I mean? I just want to see you. I just want to see you happy. You know what I mean? And it's not like that I'm gonna go bend over backwards to make you happy. It's like I want to see you like not just be inspired and be jealous. I want you to act inspired and act like you want other people to be jealous of you. And
All
not that
right.
like that's a desire that you'll actually have or voice, but you could be like, I'm acting in a way where if somebody saw me, look, I'm for sure. I keep on saying this, and I maybe said it a couple times in the podcast already, but like, if I wasn't me and I saw me, I'd be like, look at this guy. His hair's awesome. I hate him. Like, there's just something about me that like yeah, I've always wanted to be the type of person where I live the type of life where if other people would see me, they would be jealous, automatically jealous, and hate me for like if I wasn't me, I'd want to be me so bad I'd hate me for it.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
If that makes sense.
No, no,
Like,
I feel you.
like what can I learn from listening to this awkward Aquaman, this adjacent Momoa? What is this guy gonna say?
Jason Momoa.
What is this guy gonna say that's gonna be
uh,
anything that's gonna be important enough to add value into my day? I get it. I get it. I would feel that way too if I were you. But stick with me. You'll learn where I came from. I'm gonna be completely vulnerable all the time.
all right, but I do got to get out of here though, because in 30 minutes I have to go fix a tire, and I have to take a massive dump. I'm sure.
All right. Just a few things, and I'll send you off
Yeah.
into the sunset with a hot dog and a handshake.
All right.
Audio time travel. You remember? Do you remember that bit? Do you remember the segment?
Audio time travel.
So the people who love you the most are stumbling across this audio
Oh,
20 years into the future.
oh, what do you want to tell them?
What would you be saying that's going directly into the ears of those people who love you the most now? And this timestamp right now, what are you saying to the 2044 versions of the people who love you the most right now?
I never stopped loving you. Yeah,
That's pretty great.
yeah. Yep.
Is it
Oh,
pretty succinct?
I love that. I love that so much. Just
What is a question that you've never been asked that you wished that you had been asked? Meaning, you've been on a bunch of other podcasts, you've done a lot of other interviews and things like that. What's like the question no one's ever asked you on a podcast that you
oh,
had wished they would have?
oh boy, that's a good one. Uh, man, I guess, man, that is too deep because it's all things that I feel like I would say to my therapist. Uh, I need to come up with something a little more lighthearted. Um, I don't know. Like, yeah, I have no clue. Honestly, I'm happy for every question I've ever gotten. The fact that anybody's even willing to listen to it, to care enough to ask for it is nice. But yeah, honestly, any
What's like the
communication is
most frequently asked question that you've been
great.
asked
The most
on
frequently, of course, every comedian gets it. What got you into comedy? What's the,
oh
what,
yeah.
yeah, everybody and then my story is always the same. I'm so tired of telling it that I feel like I should work on it. Like, I'm gonna get the question in the future. I should try and make it into a bit or something at this point. Everybody
Yeah,
gets
man.
that question.
I think part of me kind of wanting to start the podcast was partly I had been guests on so many other shows and had answered the same questions so many times. And part of me, me asking the what have you never been asked that you'd want to be asked was that I have been asked so many times, how did I get into the wrestling business? Like, what's my favorite move? What's my best match? Like those kind of questions. It's like, you, like I want to ask other stuff and I want to answer other stuff. So then I'm asking you, like, what's the other stuff that you'd want to answer besides the stock questions that everyone's going to ask? Like, how'd you get into comedy and like what inspired you and all that? I mean, I'm sure.
I guess like more questions about the automotive industry would be nice because I'm not only well, I mean now I'm pretty much only a mechanic, auto shop owner. So I guess yeah, in the future it would be nice to get more questions about.
I'm gonna mute my mic for 1 second because I'm just gonna make a comment. But I don't need you to hear this comment. Ready?
Mhm.
Muted right now.
Okay.
Yawn. Unmute.
Yeah,
Did you hear that? Oh, damn.
yeah,
You weren't supposed to hear that.
yeah. Well, no, it's just like if you're into that stuff, then
No, I know.
it is
I'm
interesting.
totally kidding. My brother Justin. I have a brother named Justin, and he loves cars, and he understands that I don't get it, and when he says names of cars and different stats about cars, I'm like, cool.
I'm not
but
that kind of
but
gearhead.
that but like he feels that same way about professional wrestling. So it's he's like, well, my thing is cars, your thing is wrestling. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not like uh, one of those guys that are like, oh, let me drop a Hemi in there or whatever. No, my thing is I just want to make it work again. I like stock vehicles that are put together the way the factory's supposed to. So I'm a different kind of. I don't like the souped up
What
aftermarket
do you
nothing.
drive?
I currently my favorite one because I have 4 vehicles right now.
You have 4 vehicles?
Yeah.
Wow.
But my favorite one right now is my '97 Dodge Dakota, and because in South Dakota is one of the few states where you're allowed to essentially make your vehicle as loud as you want. So I cut the muffler off and I put a straight pipe in it, so it sounds way more powerful than it is. It's so sick. I love it.
You're such a troll. You're ruining people's evenings.
No. Everybody, nobody said
People are sitting down to a nice quiet dinner. Then you come running through their neighborhood, and they're like, "Ah,
because it's
I
legal
didn't hear what
here.
you said. Can you repeat what you said? Because I missed it over that jerk in the loud ass truck that just went by."
No. I have by far one of the quietest trucks here. All right, I live in a place where it's nothing but diesel semis and stuff like that, so they hear that shit all. Mine's nothing compared to those. I'm not an asshole. I wouldn't drive this shit into California. No. I have a very quiet Chevy Avalanche that I would take into other states to be polite. That's just my toy car. You know what I mean?
Mhm. I drive one car. I have a 2008 Mitsubishi Lancer.
Ooh, is it stick shift? Please be stick
No,
shift.
no, it's
Oh,
manual.
you better watch out if you break your timing because it's a timing chain on there. If you break it, it's gonna bend a valve, man. Every time you get an oil change, have them look at that.
I don't know what any of that means, sir. You're speaking another language.
Uh, but no, those are beautiful cars though. I love
Did
Lambo.
you ever see the movie Cable Guy?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Do you remember the 911 call from the twin brother?
No, I watched it a
They were
while ago.
playing the Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller was on trial for like they were like child actors and they were twin brothers and the one brother killed the other brother.
Man,
They're like,
I need.
we have this disturbing 911 call from Sam Sweet the night his brother was murdered. And then it's Ben Stiller, and he's like, he's calling 911. He's like, help me. My twin brother's been shot. I think it was an Asian gang or something. They were speaking another language. I'm pretty sure it was Asian.
Oh, that would have gotten canceled this year around. Ben Stiller.
It was funny. It wasn't derogatory in any way.
Ben Stiller has gotten away with so many, like Tropic Thunder. Like, I don't know. And but I mean, I love it. I love it all still.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I love Ben Stiller.
Oh yeah, he's great. Actually, that's one of the people I would love to meet.
Zoolander was one of the reasons why I picked my wrestling name. When I got into wrestling, I wanted Cory Kastle, the wrestling character, to be based around like a Derek Zoolander, like an idiot male model. That's what I wanted Cory Kastle to be when I first jumped into the business. So all my moves were just called different names. Like I had the Magnum, the Blue Steel, like, and they were just the same moves. But called different stuff every time.
Did you ever call it the Orange Mocha Frappuccino?
No. Did you get a bug?
I love that movie. The files are in the computer. They break
it's
it
so
up.
simple. Yeah, I could quote Zoolander all day. Okay. Just a few more things here.
Yeah.
On the record, you know how I like to talk about having conversations on the record. I want to say to you, while we're on the record, we have the opportunity to share this with each other in a platform that's going to outlive us. I want to say how pleased I am to know you, how grateful I am for the effort of your the currency of your effort, your time. It's very valuable to me, and I'm also like excited to see, what happens next for you.
Hey, the mindset is the same, man. And you honestly have put way more effort into this relationship than I have, and I want to apologize for that, man, because you are a beautiful soul, inside and out, man.
My soul on the outside.
Yeah, your soul on the outside, it represents who you are on the inside. Beautiful.
It's different. It's different than the inside soul.
No, man, that shell, I would rub oil all over that thing. It's okay. Yeah. I think you're an attractive man.
Oh. I think that comments like that mean more coming from heterosexual men than they do from gay dudes or from women, because like they want something out of whatever their comments are, whatever their compliments are. They want something out of it. Like a straight dude doesn't have to get anything from it, but they'll like compliment you in some way, and it's like it shows a lack of insecurities,
Oh yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me of I think it's a Pete Holmes bit where he talks about how he's 28 days straight.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
28 days straight.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
So don't get stuck on an island with me, man.
I love it. So the way we close out every show is I let you know that I've gifted you this show. This is your opportunity to host your own show. This is the pilot episode to your new podcast, Evolving with Justin Pinky Morris. In a very Jerry Springer's final thought, wrap into a pretty bow the most valuable takeaways from this conversation and send people home inspired to be a better version of themselves. What would you tell them?
All right. Well, technically, this is going to be the start over of my new podcast thing. So I just want to let people know that I'm gonna try and make this podcast the same, not the same, but the same level of inspiration that it has given me, and I'm gonna continue to put that on to every episode is gonna end with you guys can do it too, and if you do, send me a link. Like, really, send me a link. I'd love to hear anything that I have had a hand in helping with. That would be great. It's I know it's not what you're supposed to do, but I love taking the credit. So I would love to have my hand in there in some way, shape, or form. And I would love to support anybody that's willing to support this channel at all in any way, shape, or form. So really keep it up. And tomorrow is another beginning.
Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
All right, you know,
and
you
I'm
could
going to segue right into closing time. You see?
All right. This was.
I'd love to be a resource to anybody. If anybody's reached out to me in DMs, I automatically am going to get back to them. If you're ever feeling like you need some judgment-free conversation, or if you need a friend to talk to, if you feel like you got nobody, don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. Justin, you know my number. You can call me up. You can text me anytime. I'm always here for you. Do you do any impressions?
Oh, I do tons of them.
What's your favorite impression?
Probably right now, probably Donald Trump.
Okay, how would Donald Trump say the way we wrap up the show? We say, be fun, have safe, keep evolving. How would Donald Trump say that?
Nobody knows how to be safe, how to have fun. Or what was the third one again? What was the line?
Keep evolving.
Keep evolving. Nobody knows more than I do. All right, I've evolved billions of times. Every time even greater than the last. Just ask Ivanka. It's crazy. All right.
This kid said to me once, found out the name of my podcast. He said, do you believe in evolving? You believe in evolution? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I personally don't. I've never seen a monkey grow into a person. And I was like, you're 21. It takes a lot longer than that.
I've never seen a monkey evolve into a person. Oh, yeah? Play some Pokemon. All right. All right.
Thanks for doing it, Justin. Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks
Be
for
kind
having
to yourself. Be kind to others. Be fun. Have safe. Keep evolving.
All right.
Show's over.